Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm outdoors, overlooking the beautiful Lake Chapala. I want to show you a little bit. I just have this feeling that normally when something is ending, when someone is leaving, when we realize that a chapter in our life is ending, then we take some time to really look back and remember how wonderful and helpful this particular person or this chapter has been to us, to our growth. And I was thinking about it today. It is always a really nice feeling to spend some time and think about how helpful everything is, the helpfulness of every single person in our lives, and the event that happened, whatever they have given to us, knowingly or unknowingly, and what the relationship that we had opened us up. So thinking about that just makes me realize how nice it feels to remember the loving thoughts and focusing on the loving thoughts that we have with everything in our lives. And that just makes me think, why do we want to wait to feel this way only when we realize, okay, it's not gonna be like this anymore. No matter how intense things have been, at the end of a chapter we always remember, well, it actually has been tremendously helpful, and what gratitude we owe to the person or the events. And that just makes me feel like I want to live life in this way every single day. I don't really want to wait until someone leaves or until I realize that clearly a chapter is closing in my life. Actually, every day is worthy to feel like this, and that is why Jesus says in A Course in Miracles that every day should be devoted to miracles. Miracles is it's induced by a way of thinking. Miracles is actually a reflection of the love, of expression of love. So miracles is not something that we can direct or we can make happen consciously. It happens as a result of a shift in our thinking from fear to the absence of fear. at some point, I realized that I am responsible to my thoughts. You know, I have heard about it for so long, but it never meant what it means. It never meant what it meant until that moment when it dawned on me. And I remember that day, I actually had intensity that brought up by some seeming event. And I couldn't change what was happening, and I couldn't change how I felt. And I was sitting with the feeling, and I was questioning why did I feel that way about what happened. And you know, I could spend a lot of time get into the whys, and maybe it is that, maybe it was that, but none of it really presented any release. And I watched myself talking it through with someone else, and I watched myself talking about all these negative feelings this event brought up in me, the way I see myself, the attack thoughts I had about myself, the comparison thought I had about myself. And at a certain point, something really dawned on me that I am responsible to bring happiness, not keep relying on talking it with other people and hoping they can tell me something different about myself. And that was a huge turnover, because I thought I have to find a way I have to find a way, because I'm responsible for happiness. But how am I responsible? I cannot come up with a thought. I don't fully believe any nice thoughts about myself. So all that I could feel, something came to my mind that felt very true, was that I'm responsible for what I think. And therefore, I'm responsible for what is happening, or for what I perceive what is happening. And there is no way out of that one. I cannot keep waiting for things to change. But I am the one responsible for the kind of thoughts I'm going to hold on to in my mind. And out of it is also a feeling of upliftment from a victimhood, because part of the upset is always some version of something is lacking. And of course, in that particular situation, I perceived the lacking was caused by me, because I wasn't worthy, because this is who I am. I'm not worthy for what I want. Here is the lack, a reality, and I am a victim because of what I deserve. And when the thought dawned on my mind that I'm responsible for what I think, and also I actually choose how I want to live in another way, I actually do things out of what I want, not out of a victimhood. Because to believe that things will be lacking, experiences will be lacking, and I cannot do what I wanted. In that moment, something came to me that I realized, oh, that cannot be true, because I want happiness and I want an experience that can bring happiness. So really everything that happens is, I can see that I choose the kind of life I live. Nobody pushed me into living a kind of life that I didn't want to live. I choose the kind of life I live. I choose the kind of day I live, actually. It really seems things just happens, but I can equally say and mean that actually nothing happens to me without me inviting it first. So in a way, I really get in touch with this feeling that I'm not a victim of my life. I'm not a victim for even a second of what's going on. But this clarity and this honest awareness is easily clouded or blocked by another perspective. And the other perspective seems more convincing, which is, I don't know what's gonna happen to me today. A lot of things can happen that's not of my desire, and people and things in my life are not of my choosing. The kind of experiences that I have in my life are not up to me. This is more a general or more accepted perspective that seems to dominate the mind. I realized, even without consciously thinking like that way, but this is the kind of belief that I hold onto most of the times living in this world. Before that moment, when this new perspective not only just dawned on me, but it was such a clarity, and I felt in that moment I want to hold on to it. I don't want this to come and then just go, and I just go about the day, go back to where I was and move around thinking I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't have what I want. And I felt like I made a commitment to my mind in that day that I'm responsible for what I think, and I am also responsible for my experience. And I honestly took a look at everything in my life. Is this the kind of life I wanted? Is this the kind of, even in terms of my function, my daily so-called work, even though I don't really feel they're working in any way, it's more like what I'm doing now. It's just extending what I feel it's important to me. And at that moment, I took an honest look of my life, and I felt, honestly, every single thing that is going on in my life is exactly what I want. There is no relationship that in my life is imposed onto me. There is no event and activities that in my life that I got dragged into out of obligations. There is none. And I also can honestly say that even in the past, before any spiritual awareness, I could always identify with being a people pleaser and someone that is more weak in speaking up, in saying no, in being very direct and clear about what I feel. So I identify being someone who just didn't have the guts to say what I feel. And I was a victim of my life situation, but even that was also a choice. I feel something was more important than speaking up. I still go with what was truly valuable, truly important. At any single day, I still go about, even in the past, I went about my life based on what I valued the most, whether they are in alignment with what I see and what I value now. That's a different that's a different problem, but I can honestly say that I've always lived based on what I value the most, and therefore I've always been responsible for the kind of experience I have. And I have no regret. I really don't. I know that sometimes the ego can come in and beat you up and saying, okay, look around. If it is terrible situation, it's your fault because you're responsible. I don't even feel that. I don't feel if it is bad, then I'm to blame. I still feel like that must mean that I value something and I have to play it out. I have to play it out, and nobody can force me to believe something I don't honestly believe. It's impossible. It's impossible to go where you're not ready to go. And it's insane to beat ourselves up to say I should be somewhere, I should be more aware, I should value something else than what I truly value right now. I feel like it is an impossible goal. Actually, it is also set by the ego just as another excuse to beat ourselves up, to attack. But truly, I don't regret anything. I did have some kind of attack about my background when I first got onto the spiritual journey, because I was in university. I was in university and graduate school, but it wasn't just a normal life that I lived for. In terms of education, I really saw that as my salvation. I saw that as something that's going to give me everything. So I gave 120% to it. I didn't feel like I even had a life except bury myself in study and competition, trying to be something, trying to be worthy. And when I first got onto the spiritual journey and I saw the meaninglessness of learning anything in this world, I felt a huge disappointment and also such a waste of time and life in my life. There was some kind of negative feelings when I think of my life, but it's not there anymore. I feel enormous gratitude for what I have seen and what I have experienced. It's all extremely necessary. I need to feel that I have given what I value 100%. I really need to feel that way, and I need to see for myself what it feels like after you give something 100% and is as empty as as hell. That's just so convincing for me. Nobody can convince me with words. I have to go through that. And also, I also see the benefit of giving myself so completely to something. Even though it didn't bring me happiness, it did bring me disillusionment of this world that offers nothing. It also gives me some kind of training for focus of this mind. It was tremendous training in focusing on one purpose, even though that was the wrong purpose, but I really can carry it to something that is more worthy. So more and more, I think it just brings gratitude to everything I see and think of. I think that would be a direction that you can count on for the spiritual journey. It's never going to be less gratitude or more attack. The mind is just going to go toward a direction that it feels more gratitude towards everything and non-judgments towards absolutely everything. And the kind of responsibility that I was talking about, that I'm responsible for what I think, and I'm truly responsible for what I experience. That, if I can see the ego wants to come in to say, okay, if you're responsible, anything that's gonna be bad, that's gonna happen to you, I'm just gonna beat you up, or you're not up for to a degree where you can only choose happiness. But let's not go there, because that's not the goal of this kind of responsibility. When I had that experience, when that clarity dawned on me and stayed with me ever since, what I feel is it's actually a very happy realization. It's a peaceful, relaxed relief. Oh my God, when this happens, I can choose the kind of thoughts I'm thinking, and I can choose the kind of experience I'm having. Oh my God, truly nothing has power over my mind. No symbols of this world, no pictures, images of this world has power over my mind. That's such a relaxation and peaceful experience. And I remember that day I just said, I am going to choose a happy day. And I really meant it for the first time. It was so through and through, this happy, joyful openness in the mind, with this confidence. I finally realized that I am responsible for my mind, and I'm responsible for my experience, and then I'm gonna choose a happy day. And I will not think of situations and things in life as if I'm a victim. And I'll gladly meet everything with this attitude that I chose to live this way. I chose to have this as an experience. And if something just happens and bring up a really dark experience, I would recommend that instead of thinking the dark experience is what you choose, but see it as an opportunity to to say that this is an opportunity for me to choose something in this present moment, to face the darkness with light, and not face it the way I have been facing it in any other way, and this is the responsibility. So use the past, or you use whatever happens, if it be a negative thing, and beat the mind up. That's what the ego wants to do. The spirit just wanted to say, the answer is always in this moment, and you want to be responsible for what you choose to respond in this moment. So this morning, I think I just, there's some kind of, I see this gratitude rising up when seemingly, there's a shift happening in form. And I see how easy for the mind to focus on the gratitude for the past chapter, because I was talking with some people in our community, and some of them are leaving, and they really took the time to join on the gratitude of each other, and that just really warms my heart. And when I hear that, I feel so inspired to talk about it with you all, and to just say, let's aim for that, for the kind of gratitude that we can bring to our mind in every moment. That's what we want to remember each other. That's what we want to remember everything. And let's join in this glad celebration that we are responsible for the kind of thoughts we think. We can choose to be happy. We can still choose to be happy. So thank you for joining me today.